guy here. A guy I know published a book a little while ago that came out to about 650 pages. It did all right. It got good reviews, but it didn't sell that well. So his agent has told him to break it up into 2 volumes of about 300 pages each and sell it as 2 books in a series. Now, why? Because no one today will read a book over 350 pages or so. Really? I am quite suspicious of industry experts who make such universal declarations based on polling and focus groups and online forums. Those sources of information are rather suspect because they are limited to the kinds of people who are willing to be polled or participate in focus groups or fill out online forms. You know, people with agendas. Not saying that everyone who does this has an agenda, but there are documented things like the Barnum effect and confirmation bias and the uncertainty principle. Well, okay, the uncertainty principle doesn't really apply here, but you get my meaning. So what does apply? Common sense. I mean, would you rather have the entire story in 1 volume available for your perusal, or 2 different volumes published at 2 different times at twice the cost? And for those who think a big book is too unwieldy to carry around, I don't think it adds any weight to your Kindle. Now, personally, I love big books. 650 to 3,000 pages, man, all of it. If you're going to read, then read. And here's some big books that I think are worth reading, in no particular order. Number 10, Dune by Frank Herbert. Yeah, done to death, this one, by TV and movies and hype. Now, personally, I like the Kyle MacLachlan version. Sting wearing a Speedo and wielding a knife while screaming, "I will kill him!" That is not an image you can easily erase. So a lot of people know the story without reading the book, and that is a crime. Yes, the book is hard going. Needing a glossary for all of the weird words that Herbert invented. Dom Jabor? What the heck? But that's part of the fun of the book. Number 9, Shogun by James Clavell. Another giant novel murdered by miniseries, although the miniseries was a pretty good one, with Richard Chamberlain and Toshiro Mifune, and Pillowing, which I will leave for you to discover. The novel is a fictional account told through the eyes of a shipwrecked English sailor of the imperial struggles between 2 dynasties of medieval Japan, the Toranaga and the Ishido clans. It is loosely based on the true story of how the Tokugawa shogunate came to be. Quite loosely. But the court intrigues make Machiavelli look like a choir boy. Anathem by Neal Stephenson. Now, it is rare for me to make any kind of a list on which Neal Stephenson does not appear, and this book is one of his best. A world governed by a monastic community discovers that aliens are orbiting their planet, throwing quite the monkey wrench into their ascetic, technology-adverse lifestyle. World and universe building by a master of both. Number 7, Gardens of the Moon by Steve Erickson. Although this barely qualifies at 650 or so pages, it is an outstanding read. Dark and scary and sorcerous, and a world you simply don't want to be a part of. the first of the Malazan Book of the Fallen fantasy series. It is, in my opinion, the best of them, which is usually the case for first books of series. Right, gentlemen bastards? The Bonfire of the Vanities at number 6 by Tom Wolfe. Okay, yeah, Tom Wolfe is one of those elite writers you're supposed to hold a slightly dismissive attitude towards because his books are so wry and on the nose. But this one is magnificent. A downright funny examination of politics and celebrity and the fake reality both of them inhabit. Sherman McCoy, a master of the universe, is undone when he accidentally runs over a would-be mugger while out tooling around in his luxury vehicle with his mistress. The ensuing hue and cry was satire in the 80s. Today, it's documentary. Jonathan Strange and Mr. Morrell by Susanna Clarke at number 5. A deadpan look at an England where matter-of-fact magicians assist in the Napoleonic Wars and attempt to bring back the old powers, triggering a confrontation with the fairy world. Tinkerbell is not your friend. Number 4. Lucifer's Hammer, Larry Niven and Jerry Purnell. This is one of the best post-apocalyptic novels written to date, where a comet strikes the Earth, triggering worldwide volcanoes and earthquakes, and a nuclear strike because, hey, use them or lose them. You'd better get that compound prepped and ready. Number 3, American Gods by Neil Gaiman. Oh, come on, it's Gaiman, so that's recommendation enough. And you've seen the HBO series, so you know the story. The twilight of the gods, so to speak. Odin recruits a felon to assist him in an upcoming war with new gods. I mean, what more do you need to know? Number 2, Centennial by James Michener. Yes, I know you're not supposed to like Michener because he is so formulaic and his characters are one-dimensional and he's a bit of a propagandist. But this story is epic. Covering an area of Colorado that, after 130 million years or so, turns into the Old West town of Centennial. Getting there is half the fun. And it was a pretty good miniseries, too. And number 1, and again, none of these are in any particular order, The Parsifal Mosaic by Robert Ludlum. Before there was Jason Bourne, there was Michael Havelock. This is vintage Ludlum with more assassinations and backstabbing and twists and utter craziness than you can shake a silencer at. Take notes because, oh boy, there's a lot of people in this book. Michael Havelock, a State Department agent, witnesses the murder of his partner and lover, who turns out to be a KGB spy. He quits intel work and is out minding his own business one day when he runs into his not-quite-dead ex-lover and partner. Then the fun begins. Okay, so there you have it. So turn off that Netflix and settle in for the long haul. Old guy here. See you later.